This week, we go over the Gamescom competitive multiplayer trailer. We talk about the Dark Below expansion release date and some microtransactions.
You're listening to Destiny the Show. Welcome, Guardians.
What's up, everybody? Diddy, how are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
What you up to? School finished. We already mentioned that.
School finished,
Grades?
yes.
Grades?
Grades have not come in yet.
Yeah, I hate that about college. Isn't that the worst?
Yeah, you just have to wait just to see what happened.
It's horrible. I mean, you were sitting fine in all the classes, but you just want to know, like, day after kind of thing.
Yeah.
Were they, like, writing-based tests or Scantron-y kind of test?
Well,
Mix.
Scantron and a lot of math.
Yeah.
Math tests, like lots of handwritten. I was doing business analysis this semester, and it's just it's a math-based course pretty much, and it's just all handwritten. It's not exciting.
Gotcha. In terms of when your next semester starts, when is that?
End of August.
Okay, so you
I have
have
a few weeks.
a couple of weeks off. Anything fun in the downtime?
Working full time.
Yeah, money.
Making money.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I got a job. I've had a job.
Nice.
But
Congratulations.
thank you. Got my full-time spot, so that starts Thursday. We're going to change our DTS recording time to probably the evenings. Right now we've been doing it in the mornings, and unless we want to get up like really early, I don't know if that'll fly. So we'll have to coordinate. I am so happy that we had Gamescom this week, because otherwise I was kind of sweating in my boots for this week's show.
Yes.
Not a lot happened this week. And then in the last 2 days, there was a decent amount of news, which we're going to jump into right away.
News.
All right, so first up is Destiny. No major gameplay changes before launch. Diddy, do you want to cover this?
I mean, it's what we expected.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, the beta was so close to launch. There's not going to be like, it's not going to be like the Halo 5 beta in December is. You know, we don't have that much time to make these major gameplay changes. It was more of balance changes, to be honest. Not like this gun is going to function differently. It's not like that. It's going to be like this gun does less damage, or this interceptor does less damage.
There's not going to be a new class before launch. They're not going to add
Exactly.
like the cooking profession. You can now make space hamburgers for your guardians to recover health. It's like, no.
Yeah, the way I'm thinking about it is the launch of Destiny is an update to the beta, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, and an unlocking of like the whole sphere of things. But you're right.
Exactly.
I think this confirms what we talked about on the show a couple of times back in DTS 1 and 2, and that was beta is a performance test. That was a huge focus of it, and I think they learned a lot. I think they got to crush some servers, and hopefully that is the way it goes. We also saw this week a interview saying that there are no microtransactions currently. Everything is in the game. And do you want to cover this a little bit more?
Well, I really like that there's no microtransactions, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this.
Yeah.
It's, you know, as long as there's no gameplay changes, like pay to win, stuff like that, microtransactions, then it would be fine. But I don't really like microtransactions for a game that I've already paid for. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like League of Legends does it pretty well, right? They have lots of microtransactions with their skins, their runes, their rune pages, all that kind of stuff. But the game is free to play.
Yeah, you can get away not paying a single dollar and have the same experience as everybody else.
But with console games like Destiny, I've already paid $60 for it, and in most people's cases, I had to buy a next-generation console as well.
Yep.
That's, you know, over $400, $500 I've already spent to play this one game. I don't want to spend $2, $3, $5 here and there on just extra gear, you know?
Yeah.
And I just really hope that they don't implement something like that in the future. Like, now, Call of Duty has, like, the Snoop Dogg voice announcer pack for multiplayer. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't hope that they make it a regular thing, you know?
Yeah, especially since I'm seeing the expansions and future Destiny games kind of the way I see expansion packs. They're basically, in my mind, DLCs. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the main Destiny releases will have just an entirely boatload new of content. But, like, the actual DLCs I'm seeing as my microtransactions in essence, and especially a game that's so heavily focused on gear, it's really good that there aren't microtransactions like right out of the gate, because this game, when you hit level 20, is a gear grind. That's kind of what these multiplayer games do. You hit max level and you want to get that really nice looking stuff. And if there's a big incentive to just buy gear, I'm not thrilled on that. I think it's a slippery slope that could go horribly wrong very quickly and very, anger people.
Yeah, and Bungie doesn't have a history of doing microtransactions, so I don't anticipate them implementing some kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Activision does it. I mean, I just don't see Bungie doing that.
I could see it down the road, but at launch, I'm happy that this is the case. So, no shocker, we got the word this week that everything will be reset from the beta. That is not a big deal, and that's virtually the entire story. I mean, I know there are a few people who are like, can I keep some of my gear? But people, let's face it, that level 8 gear is going to be outdated in a moment. Now, if you did do the moon, if you played Destiny during the moon mission time, Saturday, July 26th, you will have that logo. And it was only a 2-hour window, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a 2-hour window from when you could start it. And then, obviously, if you were still in the moon, it wouldn't kick you out. You could stay for a couple more hours if you wanted to.
I don't think I'm even going to use that profile banner, though. I feel like it's any time I have some sort of beta picture or unlock, it's like, well, everybody who played the beta had that.
You're usually going to find something better. And I'm fine with losing all my gear because I know in the game I'm going to find something way better.
Yeah, I don't care about my beta progress being... I lost the 20 hours I put in that guy. Who cares? You're
going to be putting thousands of hours into this game once it launches.
New stuff, all that jazz. You sent me a link that looked really cool, and that is the hardcover Amazon strategy guide. You want to talk about it?
I mean, you can buy the strategy guide on Amazon, and it just has the cover of the strategy guide is really cool. I've never been one to buy strategy guides because I like to figure stuff out for myself, and the internet exists.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
I don't have bookshelves to collect those kinds of things on, but strategy guide, it's there for people who want it. I know a lot of people like to collect those kinds of things, and it's hardcover too, which is nice quality.
It's very pretty. Yeah, I'll agree 100% with that. I mean, it seems more like a tactile representation of game art, and there's probably going to be things in there that appeal to the collectors more so than, you need this to survive the strike, guys. Like you said, the internet exists, which pretty much killed strategy guides. I mean, when I was younger...
GameFAQs has been around for ages,
I remember, I'd go... print out a game fact for something like Final Fantasy VII when I was young, and it'd be 130 pages of text, and it was like, why did I ever do this? This was such a mistake. But I kind of miss strategy guides just from that standpoint of they're usually well put together with a lot of in-game art and resources that you don't normally get to see. Bungie holds on to some really nice pieces of artwork that they can implement probably pretty well into this thing. I won't be buying it, but it looks pretty nice.
Definitely.
And that's going to do it for today's news. On to the topic.
Time is short, Guardian. Perhaps I can help you.
Today we're talking about the Gamescom presentation, mainly the competitive multiplayer trailer. They released a trailer for Destiny's competitive multiplayer in which they showed off the game modes. Now, we already knew the names of the game modes, but in this opportunity, they showed us what the game modes are like, gave a brief description, and we're going to talk about each of those individually. They also showed off a few new armor abilities that I hadn't seen before, and it just is a general hype trailer. You see a lot of PvP, some cool weapons, some cool gear, and, definitely some stage things. Like, there was a Titan doing a Superman ground stomp. He was literally 50 feet in the air, and he just goes... face first into the earth, creating a crater, killing everybody, but he just flew towards the earth. It looked like a really sweet ability and something that would be insane to see in game. So, Diddy, you got a chance to see this, right?
Definitely.
What are your initial reactions just off the bat?
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
That's what those trailers are for, to get people hyped, and I am more hyped than I already was.
Yep, it got me a little bit more excited for PvP because, I've been more on the PvE train. Definitely, and this looked like, well, I'll probably be spending a lot of time in Rumble, I think, and the 3v3 mode.
Definitely. I've never been one to play 6v6 game types. In Call of Duty, I would always stick to the Team Tactical playlist, which was a 4v4.
Yep.
just because I don't like a lot of chaos, and Halo trained me to be a 4v4 kind of person and a free-for-all kind of person, you know?
Yeah.
In Halo 3, I played free-for-all lone wolves and doubles mostly, and I thought MLG 4v4 Team Slayer was too chaotic for Halo, and I just like to, you know, do my own thing, and I think Rumble and the 3v3 playlist will allow me to do that in Destiny.
I would have been really sad if there wasn't an FFA playlist, because I kind of agree. After playing a lot of Control, you get kind of tired of teammates just doing silly things. Yeah, yep. I mean, I'm not there just to win. I'm not only playing PvP to win, but after a few hours, it gets old when, you know, if your backpack isn't big enough, or if you're doing the right things and you have people who are like smelling glue in the corner, you're like, all right, enough. I don't want to be around that chemistry anymore. Or if you're just honestly by yourself, that's the benefit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first game mode is Skirmish, and this is a 3v3 team deathmatch game type. This is going to be small maps, which I love the fact that there's a small map game type, because let's face it, you don't have to be very smart to figure out that Moon was not a very popular map during the beta. So you now get the chance, because I don't think you actually get to pick maps. When we're going to go into PvP, I don't think there's going to be a veto system. I think it's going to be exactly like the beta, don't you, Diddy, where you're like in the spaceship and it just picks?
I would anticipate something like that. It just gives you a game. It just gives you a map.
Yeah. And this is the opportunity to pick a playlist of small maps. One of the things that's interesting is the text here says, revive teammates. There was no reviving in Control, and this could change things dramatically, don't you think?
Yeah, it could. I mean, you know, we've seen revives in multiplayer before, like in Battlefield.
Yeah.
And in Destiny, the strike missions, and I'm anticipating the raids will have the revive function as well.
Yeah.
So it will motivate teammates to help each other. You know, when a teammate gets like in Gears of War, if a teammate gets downed, you know, I'm going to go ahead and try and pick them up, you know, just so we can keep that map control. So like, say I'm on a sniper tower for some reason, you know, and my teammate dies at the sniper tower, but I want to control the sniper tower, you know, I want to, you know, try and focus on reviving my teammate so we can control that portion of the map, you know?
You're then forced to make a choice, basically, for map movement, and it adds just another layer of depth. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's interesting, though, with 3v3, I'm wondering if there's going to be a longer respawn timer because of this, because in Control, when you died, the respawn was not very long. And so I don't know, especially on small maps where there's not a huge consequence for spawning far away. This isn't like Moon where you're going to spawn way back at sea and you're like, well, darn,
right.
I got to get my little sparrow out and boost over there. So
well, if we remember from the strikes how the revive worked, you know, you could either be revived by your teammate or you would respawn in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I would assume something similar for this.
Yeah. And 3 versus 3, I'm interested about that, because those definitely have to be smaller maps than probably even Venus, don't you think?
I think Venus would be a fine 3v3 map. But Lars did say that Venus was a medium-sized map.
Oh.
So I can't remember if the other Earth map that they showed, I can't remember the name, but they showed it off, but it wasn't in the beta. I can't remember if that was a small map or not. I'm pretty sure it was.
The one they revealed last week?
Yes.
I think you're right. I think it was a small map, so...
Yeah, so something with tight corridors, and I think Venus was a medium-sized map.
I love small maps, dude. Give it to me.
Best. They're the
Especially
best.
Bungie ones. Guardian, Lockout, Sanctuary. Off topic, did you see the MCC Sanctuary remake?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh.
I'm glad they kept all the jumps, too.
Yeah, me too. I thought it looked really nice. And also, did you see that, like, 1st to 5, the 2v2?
Yes.
Did that, like, not
the
just get you...
kill.
Oh.
It got me hyped.
I want to play this now.
Exactly.
But this
Halo
is a Destiny
community is
show.
just like, they're so excited for this game now.
Frothing at the mouth. Yesterday, like, that's the only way to put it, is, like, people are literally shaking in their chair, like... Give it to me.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. Second game type is combined arms. Oh, no, I jumped way down the list. Forget that. The second game type they showed was Rumble, which is 6-player free-for-all. We've known about this. There's no reviving. It's you against the world. This is the playlist Diddy's going to be playing the most, and probably the playlist I'm going to be in as well the most. And I hope this comes to Iron Banner.
I'm actually really excited they kept it at 6 players instead of 8 players. Because it allows smaller maps into the rotation, you know?
Yeah.
Like with 8 players on one map, you would get medium-sized maps, you know? And like High Ground from Halo 3, I hated that map. It was too big for free-for-all.
Yeah.
And it was in the Lone Wolf playlist. It was in the rotation. But with free-for-all 6 players, you know, you're most likely going to get mostly small maps, which I'm really excited for. It keeps the action high.
Yeah, I agree. Well, when there's too many people in FFA, it really stops being fun and it starts being almost like an octagon where you spawn in and look left or right.
Yes.
Like we did a few on the Halo 3 game nights a few years ago that would be like 18-person FFAs or 16, excuse me.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, it's fun, but it's
chaos.
like a novelty. You get really tired of spawn in, die, or just you spawn in and don't even have to move farther than 3 steps to get engaged with somebody.
16-person octagons are just like
on Halo 3,
fests.
dude, it's awful. Like, it's just so laggy. I know some people love it, but I hated those. Like, let's do Octagon. No, we're not doing Octagon. People are like phasing through walls, and it's just awful how bad the lag would get. So, all right, next game type is Salvage. This is another 3v3 game type. You kill enemies, you revive teammates, but the key word here is salvage relics. And one of the things to take note is the clip they showed, the ghost was scanning something. So I don't know if you remember in some of the missions where the ghost would be like, all right, defend me. And he started scanning stuff. Or if you think of the first stage of the Devil's Lair strike, I don't know if that's what salvaging a relic is. But this could be sort of like a King of the Hill or a hard point.
Extraction.
Yeah, Extraction is a good,
from Halo
a good
4.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating either King of the Hill or Extraction.
Yeah. And I like this. I think it would be fun, but I'm imagining bigger maps. This is probably 3v3 on medium maps then, because if it's a small map, I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Small
about
and medium, it depends. Just objective game types, you know, Destiny's going to need them. And I'm actually kind of surprised they don't have a capture the flag, but I guess they've been there, done that, and they want to try something new.
Yeah, it is sort of shocking, isn't it? Every FPS these days seems to have that game type. I don't really know if I can say that I like CTF that much, to be honest with you, unless you have teammates. Like, CTF is a playlist I've never really liked going in solo because it just requires too much coordination, especially in Halo, where you have people pulling flags before they've slayed enough. And especially 15-minute game timers. It wore on me. I got tired of that stuff a long time ago, so I'm actually very okay with it not being in Destiny. And our next game type is Combined Arms. This is 6v6 team deathmatch with vehicles. And this is the one where they had the Titan ground stomp clip. Guys, check the trailer out. It's worth it just for this. The dude is 50 feet in the air, slams right into the ground, and blows up a bunch of stuff. It looked really cool. So this is probably going to be your BTB, don't you think?
Yeah, big team battle, definitely. Especially with the vehicles, you know?
Yeah.
This is what the Moon was in the beta, basically.
Yep.
It's 6v6 TDM with vehicles. I mean, that's what Moon was, except for, the control points, whatever.
That's fine. Everybody ignored those anyway.
Yeah, people who really love vehicles are going to love this playlist.
Yep. I think it's going to be fun. I'll be in there a lot. I did not mind the vehicles one stinking bit, but I don't know. Maybe I won't be in here the most. And the last game type we already knew about, it's control. It's domination with a spin. It's basically capture points. And the more points you have, when you get kills, you get more points. Did I do it justice?
Remember, listeners, it's a Slayer game mode with objectives. Not an objective game mode with kills.
Yeah. There's no hold A and B longer, you win. It's hold A and B, slay more, you win.
Exactly.
In the presentation, they announced that Destiny is the most pre-ordered new IP ever. So that was from GameStop. And Diddy, you know a little bit more about this, don't you?
Yeah, I worked for GameStop for 3 years in the the #1 store in the southern region. So I got a lot of experience with pre-orders, but I don't really like how they put this because pre-order numbers are usually inflated because, companies will pre-order just a bunch of games to get more media attracted to it, and a lot of people will pre-order multiple copies so they could have gotten access to the beta. For instance, if I owned a PlayStation and an Xbox, I would have pre-ordered 2 copies of Destiny so I can get a PlayStation and an Xbox version, you know?
Yeah, or if you're a big company, like some of these big media outlets on YouTube, I know they pre-ordered multiple copies so they could give keys away to promote their site.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And, you know, if Bungie did not have a partnership with them, like I'm assuming IGN, I'm assuming Bungie just supplied them with beta codes instead of IGN pre-ordering 1,000 copies of Destiny and getting all those codes.
Yep.
But, you know, some companies will do that. So pre-order numbers are typically inflated, but considering it's the most pre-ordered game in history, you know, looking at the fact that...
For a new IP, though.
Yeah, and looking at the fact that pre-order numbers are already inflated, so it's the most pre-ordered inflated number of all the inflated pre-order numbers, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't hold much value to us, but when you're at probably a presentation and there's like the people there with big bucks who don't really understand the gaming. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear my investment's doing well. Good job. Good job. Yes. Put that in a magazine.
And that's not to say that, you know, Destiny still is the most pre-ordered game in the world. It's just, you know, you need to take it with a grain of salt. You know, it could be true, but, you know, it's also going to be inflated a little bit.
It also is on 4 platforms, which kind of helps a little bit rather than just a PC exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you have a number of how many pre-orders it was?
Nope. They just said most pre-ordered, which, again, backs up exactly what you just said, right? If they actually gave the number, it'd be...
For some reason, I have this number 9 million pre-orders in my head. There's not going to be 9 million people playing at launch.
Nope.
If we think about it, 6 million people played the beta, right? Or 6 million Guardians played the beta.
6 million Guardians created, 4.6 played in the beta. So
yeah, exactly. So like 4.6 million people, if each of them pre-ordered twice, that's, you know, 9 million something pre-orders. So, you know.
Somewhere around there. I don't know. They should have released the number, but it was just something pretty to put into the presentation. On to the Tower Talk.
It's time for the Tower Talk.
So for today's Tower Talk, sticking with our Gamescom theme, we have an audio clip from the Destiny presentation, and it's kind of vague. So the first part of the clip talks about this.
And your timed exclusive access doesn't end there.
And that is in reference to PlayStation users getting access early to a Crucible map and a Strike that's not going to be available right away for the Xbox crowd. But then, when they're talking about the Dark Below expansion release date, this is said.
I have the privilege to announce that Expansion 1, The Dark Below, will launch for everyone in December.
Now, what on earth do you make of the word everyone, Diddy? That, to me, is very weird, because my understanding is PlayStation users are going to get the DLC earlier. I know there's exclusive content that PlayStation users get 1 year earlier. I don't think the DLC, Dark Below expansion, will be an entire year. But using the word everyone, do you think he's talking about all of the PlayStation users, or is he talking about everyone?
I'm going to say everyone, because in history, you know, developers will release stuff for everyone on both consoles for the Christmas season.
Yeah.
You know, but it has been said that PlayStation owners will get early access. So I don't know. It's just really hard to make something out of this since it's out of context.
I hate when there's no like, hey. I wish somebody from the audience would just be like, hey, before you go, what do you mean by that?
Can you clarify that for us? Can you put it in layman's terms?
I'm going to let you finish, but what does everyone mean?
But it does sound like PlayStation owners will get access to the Crucible map and the game type, whatever, before everyone else. And then the first expansion, which was supposed to be, you know, just PlayStation Early Access, will be released to everyone in December. That's what I make of it.
I'm on board with that, but I also would love to see it come out first for the Sony stuff, and then they'd be like, expansions don't come for a year to you Xbox peasants. Let the flames burn and the riots begin. Because that would give us a lot to talk about on the show. Let's face it. If they like pulled one of those, even though I'm an Xbox user, I would kind of love it just to see all these Xbox people's heads explode, because
Destiny drama, baby.
I can't believe how much people got upset over the frickin' beta. It's like, even if you guys had the beta the same date as Sony, most of you would have put it down in 3 days anyway. I was done in 3 days. I did it all, okay? So chill out. Yeah. So there's that. Dark Below expansion December. That's kind of exciting. I kind of figured as much, don't you? Like, to get people to buy it for the holiday season.
Definitely. I mean, it's totally marketing. That's all they want. They want to sell more copies of Destiny. They'd be like, oh, you get the game plus extra content.
Christmas
Typical Activision.
news.
It's typical Activision to do a marketing scheme like this.
Basically, December should be our Crucible month because it's going to be that beautiful time of the year that all FPS players know, and it is the Christmas noob feeding frenzy where every lobby...
Christmas noobs. Oh, Christmas noobs.
How delicious they will taste. It's beautiful. You go into lobbies and people are still figuring out button layouts, and you're like, at that time, you literally feel like Vin Diesel. Yeah, you're Vin Diesel. You go in, you can't be stopped, and it's the gameplay. You could get all the gameplays you need for an entire year during like a week stretch of time.
It came from Twitter!
This week we had a tweet from Mr. Lurker Zero saying, great show regarding expectations. Really enjoyed it. If you guys ever want to guest, I'd be thrilled. Well, thanks, Lurker Zero, for the nice comment, and we will definitely keep that in mind. Both me and Diddy have some guests in mind. We're waiting for the release of the game because we need more things to talk about. For right now, we're talking about news, we're talking about whatever shreds come out, and when the game comes out and people can start playing it, we're really looking forward to getting more involved with our community and with our listener base. And that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I want to, again, shout out our iTunes subscribers. You guys are knocking the ball out of the park. Every week, the numbers are growing, and we really appreciate it and like seeing that. So continue listening, spread it to your friends, and we are so close to the release. I think we said it was a month from today. Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that. What's today? I mean, today's the 13th that we're recording, so...
Yeah, and it's the 9th, I think, so...
It's less than a month away, guys.
Whoa, my gosh. I kind of need it. I've been really a little bit sad without it. I look at my Xbox One as it's sitting in the box, and it won't come out of the box until Destiny comes out.
Yeah, because you don't have anything for the Xbox One.
I have Forza, but I
Who
can't
plays
motivate.
Forza?
I mean, it's fun if you have time, but like, I just don't... I feel like if I'm going to get onto game, I should do something towards like making videos and being productive rather than I'm just going to drive a car around a track, which is very fun, but you know, I haven't had that bad of a day where I need to drive a car around a track, a virtual
BBK Dragoon racing montage. The listeners are expecting it. Let's do it.
It would be the most boring videos ever. Like, actually, I sub to a Gran Turismo channel, and it's pretty fun, but I could never see doing that full time. All right, Diddy, shout yourself out. Where can people find your content, your channel, and all that goodies?
YouTube.com/whooshness with 3 O's. The same for Twitter. And twitch.tv/Diddy with an underscore. And twitch.tv/Destiny the Show.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got new followers there. Are you going to be pushing any more Destiny stuff out?
I do have a few videos. I just need to figure out what to talk about. You know,
I kind of got that hankering again to watch, like right after the beta. I'm like, I don't need to see anything. But now that it's been a few weeks, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, people are like, I want some new Destiny content. And I have some videos that nobody's seen before. So it's just, I don't have anything to talk about, you know?
It's hard.
I just want to post the gameplay, but people want to hear commentary. So it's whatever.
We really do cover like every shred that we can during these shows. And there's not a lot coming out right now.
Should I just record the audio of me like studying or something and then put it over Destiny gameplay? Because that's
face
all
cam,
I could do right now.
And you're just sitting there doing homework. That would be pretty awesome.
Do you guys want to see some decision trees for business analysis?
That actually would be pretty cool.
It's boring. But
speed run your homework and then show us
the
grade.
Homework.
Yeah.
Time lapse.
It's a race. It's a homework race. I'll SRL race you or whatever. All right, everybody, make sure to go destinytheshow.com for regular post updates and all the links from today's show. You can email us, destinytheshow@gmail.com. Finally, follow us at Destiny the Show on Twitter. You can follow me at BBK Dragoon. We appreciate everybody listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.